Are you turning 65 and have to make a decision whether to come on to Medicare or to stay on your group policy? That's a good question we get all the time. So stay tuned and let's get started with our 5-minute Medicare and let's get rolling. Hi everybody and welcome back to 5-Minute Medicare. My name is Mike Loro. I'm from Health Benefit Options and we're located right here in Western Pennsylvania, 40 miles north of Pittsburgh. If you like our channel, don't forget to subscribe at the bottom and also hit that little bell and it'll notify you every time we have a new video on Medicare. We are discussing today about group insurance versus Medicare. So we come across this a lot. We get a lot of times people come into our office, they're coming on to Medicare, and they just want to know, is it better for me to stay on my group policy or should I come on to Medicare? There's a few things to consider. The first thing that you really have to look at when making this decision, and this is what we do in our office, is we have those consultations, is do you have a spouse that is currently non-eligible for Medicare and is riding on your group policy? So this is very important because we all know out there how expensive some of the plans are on the individual marketplace, right? So that could be a big deciding factor on whether you should come on right off the bat, right? So if you do have a spouse, we would probably recommend, unless you are within the income limits where you can get a tax credit, to stay on the group policy. However, if you're not and you don't have a spouse, then you do have a decision to make because you can continue working and be on Medicare. A lot of people don't know that. They think you have to be fully retired for that, and you don't have to be. So what would happen is you can opt out of your group plan and come on to a Medicare plan, and you would get your money back in your paycheck. Now, one of the things that we will look at is how much is your group plan costing you each paycheck? And we will weigh that out to what it's going to cost for original Medicare. Before we even look at plans, we know that there are zero premium plans out there. So we know that we can get you as low as, what your Part B premium would be for original Medicare. Now, the standard for original Medicare is $148.50. Okay, that's for a normal, income level person, maybe not low income and maybe not high income, but it'll be, most people fall within that bracket. But one of the things we're going to look at is if you are above the certain threshold, then it's going to cost you more money for your Part B premium. We may not want to go on Medicare just because it could get very expensive as you depending on what your income level was, and they'll have a 2-year look back on that. So that is one of the things we'll discuss here at Health Benefit Options. Another thing that we're going to look at also is, the risk that is involved by staying on the group plan compared to the risk on a Medicare plan. So that's another thing that we take into consideration is the risk that you're taking. So what do I mean by risk? Well, let's give you an example. If you were to have, say, a heart attack, God forbid, and ended up in the hospital, well, on traditional group policies, they have different stages. And the first stage is what we call the deductible stage. So usually and practically every time I look at a group policy, you'll have to meet your deductible before that plan kicks in, and then you'll have a maximum out of pocket. So you have 3 stages: deductible, co-insurance, and maximum out of pocket. So what do I mean by that? So let's say, once again, God forbid, somebody had a heart attack. As soon as they wheel you into the hospital, you'll probably meet your deductible stage. So let's say the deductible is $1,000. So they take you into the hospital, they bring you into a room, you've already met that deductible, it's $1,000 probably from the ambulance ride or whatever else they did as far as admitting you. Then you'll hit that co-insurance stage. That co-insurance could be anywhere, it could be 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, and 90-10, right? So that means if you're on, let's say, an 80-20, you're on the hook for 20% of whatever the cost of that care is. So that is called risk, right? You've got to hit your deductible. Let's use an example of $1,000. Now everything past that $1,000 is going to be on 20% co-insurance. So let's say they take you into the hospital and you have inpatient hospital. Well, now we're starting to go to maximum out of pocket. So let's say the maximum out of pocket was $7,000. Well, now you have to understand you have a $7,000 risk on a major situation or major condition. If you ended up in the hospital, got admitted and had an operation and then had to stay at the hospital, right? You'll probably hit that maximum out of pocket fairly quick. So your risk on the group insurance is very high because you could go in for one incident and hit that maximum out of pocket. Whereas on the Medicare side, the copayments are very low for the inpatient hospitals. I shouldn't say very low, but they're just copays. There's a lot of plans out there that could have an extremely small deductible, like Plan G that has a $203 deductible. Once you meet that deductible, everything's covered 100%. So in a sense, with a Medicare supplement like Plan G, your maximum out of pocket is really $203, right? Think about it. You pay the deductible, it's called a Part B premium deductible, then everything they do for you is covered 100% thereafter. Now, if you go to a Medicare Advantage plan that doesn't, could have a zero premium in it, which means the only thing you'll pay is that $148.50 for your Medicare, you could potentially have a plan that has no deductible in it and just has a copay. So what if that copay was $300 per admission? The same situation, you go into the hospital, no deductible, and it has a per admission copay in it, you're going to pay $300 for that whole service if they admit you. So this is something to look at, to say, all right, we know in the group policies you could have, a higher risk on an incident because you could run up that bill really quick. Whereas a Medicare plan, medically wise, you may not be able to, you won't run up that bill so quick and so fast. So those are questions we'll ask our customers at Health Benefit Options, and we'll discuss that and about the risk, and we'll assess, are they a person that has a lot of high risk? And if it is, maybe we suggest going on the Medicare plan. So a lot of things to discuss when people come in. We kind of put a puzzle together. We do a needs analysis to help people with that. Give us a call. We can step you through that process. We could do it online, or you can come to our office depending on where you're located. One other thing I did want to bring up was the medication cost from the group policy compared to the Medicare plans. Now, unfortunately, in Medicare, we do have some good copays for medicine in the Medicare world. However, some of the brand drugs and some of the specialty drugs could be quite a bit more than if you were on a group policy. So that's another thing we're going to look at. We definitely will do an analysis of your medications. So that's it for right now. Those are some things to consider. Definitely, you really need to work with a professional like Health Benefit Options. Give us a call. We can set up a time just to have that initial discussion. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next on the next 5-Minute Medicare. Thank you for joining us.